Okay, so like Dr. G said, little switch up, but we're really excited and happy to have Camille here today. She's going to be talking to us about virtual reality, the metaverse, and also Beauty XR. No. Oh, it did this last time too. Hold on. Oh, geez. Okay. So just a little introduction. Camille has immersed herself in the industry and has years of experience. She is passionate not only about fashion merchandising, but also the metaverse and virtual reality. We're very lucky and grateful to have her here today and share her insights and wisdom about the metaverse because it's still developing and is really changing daily.
So Camille's education, she went to Pennsylvania State and got her bachelor's in communications and liberal arts. She went to Philadelphia University and got her master's in global fashion enterprise, which is now Jefferson, as we know. And I did see that you did a little bit of coursework at Drexel, so that also counts. And she just received this certificate in augmented reality from MIT. So that's awesome.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, I don't know why my laptop keeps doing this. It like won't let me move forward. Oh, okay, there we go. We wanted to really highlight Camille's experience because, like I said, she has so much and has done so much in her career. So currently, she does work at Jefferson University as a professor. Before that, she was at LIM College and she was a professor there as well in Master of Professional Studies and Merchandising. And then before that, she was a professor at Harcum College for fashion merchandising as well. She was a merchandiser at Solon Page and then also a merchandise coordinator at Colonial Marble and Granite. And then we also wanted to add just a highlight slide. I pulled this from Camille's LinkedIn. It's a Meta portfolio, which I would love to learn more about because I just saw that and I was like, that is so cool. But in 2010, Camille launched Blush R2W, a contemporary women's clothing brand She created product concepts and worked with high-end boutiques and customers. In 2008, Camille worked as a luxury brand assistant design intern at Sean John Collection. She worked with a cross-functional team, including a woven designer, visual merchandising manager, design director, and production team. She also edited CADs and produced tech packs for the final production. And her skills include, but are not limited to, fashion merchandising, communication, merchandising, and business development. And then we do have a question slide, but we can do those at the end. And I will pass it over to Camille now.
Look, I'm clapping too. Oh, that was so awesome. I'm like, oh goodness. Okay, so thank you so much for all of that. And it kind of like brought back, it's like triggered memories to where I got here now. I'm very excited to like share what I've been doing over the past, I guess this would be year or so, 2 years. Probably, I feel like it's been more than that, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. Let me see if I could make this full screen. Is it full screen on your end? Yeah, cool. So what I'm going to share today is what I call the ultimate reality showdown. So I'm going to break down a couple of different terms that you may or may not be familiar with and polish it and off with a case study in Beauty XR and an app that I'm actually developing. So I think the biggest thing is kind of like, how did I get here? And I can honestly say, with everything that I have experienced and my background and stuff like that, it all stemmed from my education. So nothing is wasted, right? Are all now in, I don't know, junior and senior years of your professional education. Make education what you want it to be. Take from it things that you can use kind of like forever. So this is like my process of discovery.
Okay, so, oh, here she's back. She is in a different location. She's at her sister's house. There she is. Hello?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, we're gonna slice and dice this video so it doesn't look so crazy. Okay,
Am I back now?
you're back. It says you're starting to share your screen.
Okay.
Here we go. I see your screen. Can everybody see the screen? Okay.
I wonder why that happened. Hold on, let me just make sure. Okay, it looks like I'm good on my end. I don't know why
And
that
now we
happened.
hear you well. I hear you well.
Good. So I don't know what you guys missed, but I'll just start from the process of discovery and neuromarketing. So neuromarketing is what I finished my master's thesis on. So it's this concept that you literally market directly to the brain of your consumers, right? So you think about what it is that motivates them to make a purchase or to spark a relationship with you. And that's literally kind of like if you take the word apart, like, we do in grammar and diction, neuro, brain, marketing, communication, right? So brain communication is what I did during my master's thesis. But I was always left with like, something's not finished here, right? But within that master's thesis was what I, kind of came across was this marketing guru named Simon Sinek. He's around still today. And I encourage you to kind of look him up. And his concept was the golden circle. For those of you who had me in GFI, I talk about this at, sometimes during the beginning of the coursework when you're developing your mission statements, which is the why, how, and what, right? And that's kind of what neuromarketing does. It's like speaking directly to the part of the individual's brain, essentially, that kind of like warrants some kind of activity, a purchase, a relationship, or a decision to be made, right? So that kind of fight, flight type thing. So why is the actual reason for you to be in existence, for your business to be thriving and all of that? How is kind of like, ways in which you communicate. And then the what is the product. What is always going to be the product and kind of like how you're going to profit off of your why. And essentially I thought, or, this had come from like, I'm always going to love fashion, retail, beauty, all of those things, but how can I, manage that and make it kind of like my own, right? So you have neuromarketing, you have the golden circle. Fast forward a few years later, you have this wonderful woman here, Octavia Butler. So again, kind of thinking back to what I was saying earlier about nothing being wasted. So I was part of a community of women who was in a book club. And in this book club, I came across this writer. She's a science fiction writer named Octavia Butler. And she has a series called The Pattern Master. While this, there's this couple different things that she kind of covers in this series, everything from, ancestors, racism, globalism, things that happen in politics. I feel like she was like this like prophet speaking about what will happen in the future. But part of this story was these story masks, right? Part of this series, was these story masks that individuals would wear, and they would just kind of lose themselves in these story masks. And one of the main characters, her name was Olamina, right? So Olamina would write the stories for these story masks. And as I was reading, I was like, I want to be like her, right? In this book. In the midst of all this, I'm not saying anything that was not kind of like happening simultaneously, because I feel like the neuromarketing and the golden circle was both simultaneous. And then reading the Pattern Master and then understanding Web3 and virtual reality, which is like at the top of this like climb that you see right here, was almost simultaneous as well. And then of course, I'm a fashion and beauty person at heart. So I weaved fashion and beauty through all of these things, because none of this is inherently a dress, right? None of this is a silhouette. None of this is like a merchandise assortment. But through all of these different things, you can support what you're passionate about in the fashion industry through. So I'm going to leave you with a question, right? What if I told you You can be anyone you want and go anywhere you want without leaving your home or changing your physical appearance. That's the question that kind of sparked inside of myself when I started going in the direction of virtual reality and augmented reality. So don't answer it now, right? Think about that. Here in this presentation, of course, we're going to look at augmented reality and virtual reality. They are some of the most popular technologies used in today's world. While both technologies offer immersive experiences, there are some key differences between them, and I'll do my best to briefly share that with you in this limited amount of time, right? We'll explore the difference between them and how they are being used in different industries, and primarily fashion, and even more importantly, we're ending it with beauty. We will also review some key market players, platforms, and resources. And I even have a brief Metaverse fashion show and a ton of different links to share with you. And Juliana, I'm going to give you this presentation because there are a lot of links in here that I feel like if students are interested, they can go on and, click through. And then finally, I will share an app I'm working on and get your feedback on the development process, because that's where I am with everything. I'm in the development phase of this app. So augmented reality, technology that overlays digital information into the real world. Has anyone ever been on Wayfair? Yeah, good. So they sell furniture, right? And sometimes you could go on their website and find a couch that you love and then imagine it. Like, of course, we can imagine it in our space, but they use augmented reality to actually superimpose that couch into your living room space so you can see how you would like it to fit in your room. Other ways that we do it is like using the measuring app on our iPhones. Augmented reality is even used on Snapchat. Who has Snapchat? Couple of us, right? Have you ever put a filter on your face ever? Yeah, so that's augmented reality. And this company, Perfect Corp, they work with Snapchat, Instagram, wherever you can find a filter to engage with your consumer, of course, for you to kind of like express yourself, right? Remember, thinking back to that question, what if you could be anything, right? It kind of like lets you do that through augmented reality. So augmented reality, and think Snapchat. The other concept here is virtual reality. This is then a technology that's a completely simulated environment. You do need a headset to use this usually, but you can also access this in your laptop, in your phones, for example, or your tablets, right? But for you to really enjoy the immersive experience, the headsets are what it's going to be. I think in the future, though, it's going to be like contact lenses that you can put on, and it's going to be like way more accessible so that you don't have to kind of like walk around with these huge headsets on your face. Has anyone ever seen Ready Player One? The movie Ready Player One, right? Really dope movie. What about The Matrix? Right? I love that movie. And thinking back to that kind of like bridge or that mountain that I was kind of showed earlier, The Matrix is actually part of that. Like, Matrix has always been one of my favorite movies ever. And now as I'm going into this virtual reality space, way before I even learned about it, now I see why. Like, I'm just so interested in understanding how we respond to these different kind of technologically advanced stimuli, right? And what you see here, the images of the dresses that you see here is by a woman named Anand Duncan. She works in San Francisco as a designer for film and television animation. She illustrated fashion for animation projects, as well as magazines, games, and product designs. So like Fortnite skins. Anybody play Fortnite? No? Roblox? A little bit. Yeah, that's not what to say. I know some of you guys in here are into that stuff. But this is kind of like where it all started, which is why you see like brands like Burberry, Balenciaga, Nike, etc., making partnerships with like Lego, for example, in the metaverse to kind of capture that customer young and literally keep them forever, right? That's the whole goal. Like we used to just be like, here's our wonderful design, here's our beautiful dress. It comes in these couple of different colors, buy it now, right? But it's just not like that anymore. Millennials and Gen Zers, we want individuals that will, we want brands that will strive for a deeper connection with us, whether it's in the technological space or in something like sustainability or in something that's more institutional. And when I say institutional, something like breast cancer awareness or something that is like autism awareness, things like that. So, anything that you could take it beyond the product and beyond the actual merchandise is what's going to make the actual connection with that customer longer and deeper and ultimately have you make more money. So this is the space that I really am in. And I could get into like MR and all of that, but for the sake of time, like I said, I'm just going to go with AR and VR. So if you put them together, along with all of the components and things like that, you have this idea of extended reality, right? So anything that is outside of your physical, everyday persona. And if you have an avatar on your iPhone, if you have, like I said, a Snapchat filter that you use, even if it's like a filter that changes or brightens or dims or hides certain things about yourself that you don't like, you are treading into this extended reality space. And, some of the pushback that I get is like, I don't want, Big Brother or them or those people to get or collect this data on us. But I can guarantee you 1,000% if you are holding any type of technology within a foot or 5 feet or arm's length or down the street, even if it's in another room, whatever, they have gotten everything that they need to make you buy a product. So you're safe, right? I mean, there have been some kind of what do you call it, like lawsuits and things like that with Christian Dior and some of these beauty brands and product, like I'm not product, but Perfect, like I'll show you. And I would say it's like 50-50. Some of them win the lawsuits and some of them lose the lawsuits. And the loopholes also always have to do with kind of like, not so much invasion of privacy, but how much invasiveness is happening, right? But yeah, so, bringing it full circle back, AR plus VR is extended reality. And just kind of reiterating what I said earlier, design, silhouette, and heavy emphasis on assortment have been the long-standing connector between consumers and brands, right? So designers will create the design, you have a marketer who will communicate the design, the merchandiser who will put it all together in this fancy assortment, price it out, and put it into market. But now, contemporary consumers, like I said, millennials and Gen Z, deeper, more experiential connection. They want to be a part of the story. For example, when I was in Paris, Louis Vuitton, I mean, they just kind of blew me away, right? And, a story is really, really important. But if you can capture a customer at every level and bring them in as a part of their story, they will spend whatever they need to continue that relationship, right, with the brand, I'm saying. So XR, extended reality, provides this opportunity for brands like Nike, Burberry, Zara, Tarte Cosmetics, et cetera, to kind of create that connection. So Nike and Burberry are in the metaverse. Zara is in metaverse. Tarte Cosmetics uses artificial intelligence, and that's all a part of extended reality. So enter me, right? So what am I going to do with this? My goal in all of this is to make these resources available to smaller brands who understand the concept but don't necessarily know how to enter this space, right? So that's me. That's what I'm going to be doing until, the end of time. So I'm part of this group of individuals that is called the Metaverse Fashion Council. The Metaverse Fashion Council is a decentralized autonomous organization, a DAO. So what they do is come together and put on fashion shows. They kind of regulate in a way what's happening in the metaverse. They provide resources and tools for individuals to enter into the metaverse. And I'll show you a couple of key players. Oh, sorry. And this link up here that you see, the metaversefashioncouncil.org, these 10 keys. Let's see if I could share this. Can you see the 10 keys?
No, because if it popped up, now we can. Yep.
You can see it. Yay, okay. So these 10 keys kind of show what's happening or what the Metaverse Council actually offers, right? So it's only one decentralized metaverse, as there is only one fashion. But I want you to keep in mind that all of these things change constantly and over time. And companies like, I'm sorry, the Metaverse Fashion Council oversees all of that. So fashion plays a supreme role in the metaverse because one of the first things that we do in the, oh, how about this? Let me rephrase that. What is one of the first things you do in the morning after you brush your teeth and take a shower? What are one of the things that you do? Very, very simple.
Make coffee.
Make coffee. So we make coffee. What else do we do?
Get dressed.
Get dressed. Right. So we have to get dressed. So fashion which is why fashion is such a huge part of the metaverse. It's kind of one of the first faces that we show in this digital space, and things like NFTs and cryptocurrency, for example, all of those come into play in the metaverse. And again, the Metaverse Fashion Council helps regulate and provide resources to all of that. What else can I say about this? You can invest in the Metaverse Fashion Council and become a part of things like the fashion shows. You have brands like Philip Line, Dolce & Gabbana, Supreme, even MasterCard. MasterCard has a space in the metaverse. And I'll tell you, they do this because they are connecting brands, not just with them as a credit card company, but with each other for additional resource, for information, how to grow their business, and even further connect with customers. So Metaverse Fashion Council engages venture capital and fashion through special events. So you can go to like a concert, there's concerts, there's contests there, there's awards, there's board meetings. One time I would participated in a podcast in the metaverse where I kind of stumbled upon this one space that was on spatial, and they kind of guided me around to what, an Easter egg. Any of our game players, you know what an Easter egg is? Yeah, sort of. So it's kind of like this hidden space or hidden award, if you will, in the actual metaverse. The community owns the metaverse. It's fully decentralized. It's not owned by the government, and they decide. It's very democratic what kind of policy standards and rules go on in there as well. We own the money that's in there. A lot of what happens in the metaverse, fashion brands and creators will mint their own currencies and tokens for payment. So those NFTs sometimes are minted and backed by the brands themselves. Different fashion pieces in the form of NFTs become useful and valuable in the metaverse, making it very 3D immersive. You can buy a lot of these things from brands themselves or DressX. Anyone ever hear of DressX? Or put a shirt on virtually? Anybody put a shirt on virtually or a dress on virtually or a necklace or something like that? Even a hat, right? So DressX will be part of that. So, the 3D immersive NFTs with Web3 smart contracts start real life in the metaverse, not just on 2D screens of old-fashioned systems, but in the 3D immersive space. that is the onset of the blockchain, wardrobes, and showcases of value. And I can go on and on and on about this, but I have the link up there because I have a lot more to show you in a little bit of time. I'm going to go back to my slides with the Metaverse Fashion Council. One of my favorite people that are part of, that is a part of the Metaverse Fashion Council is Nova Lorraine. This woman is absolutely phenomenal. So she was a fashion designer. She has this book called Unleashing Your Supernova. And right now, as we speak today, she is speaking in Paris at the Paris Blockchain Conference, right? So this is someone to know. Remember, I said market and key players. So you have the Metaverse Fashion Council, you have Nova Lorraine, and you have this wonderful guy here, Barry McGowan. Barry is a key player because he drives a lot of growth in the metaverse. He does everything with product and digital innovation. He used to work at Google. He also worked at PVH. He's an entrepreneur, and he does a lot of strategy and transform leadership, product growth driver, green engineering. He's out of the UK. I like, he's like one of my aspirational stalkers. He's like one person I haven't gotten to speak with face to face yet. I did get a chance to speak with Nova Lorraine, though, but Barry's on my radar, so he should be on yours as well if you are interested in being in this space. So the next couple of slides are ways in which you can get involved in this space if you want, right? So the metaverse essentially is completely wide open. Think of outer space, right? Think of outer space, let there be light, complete darkness. You come in and you create what you want. That's what Unity does. And you can connect this kind of platform to the metaverse. You can create your own world essentially, right? So out of nothing, you can create your own world. And it's free, right? It starts off free. If you want to kind of like go and do a deep dive and things like that, you can buy things in there, but it's completely free. Next is Decentraland. This may be one of the most popular platforms in the metaverse. And you see here's a designer with their collection being shown. And the link that I actually have on this page is to Metaverse Fashion Week, which is happening, I believe, the 28th through the 31st. So you can go ahead and get your avatars together and visit some of the shows. I'm going to click this link for YouTube and show you one of the shows. I'm going to share this screen in a minute. Can you see YouTube? Yes, now you can. Okay. Let me make sure I'm sharing my sound. So these are the brands that are in there. You see here, Dundas. And this is something that would happen during Fashion Week. And you see, you don't necessarily need to have the immersive glasses on, although I recommend you do for the fully immersive experience. But everyone's invited. You don't have to pay. You get this like one-on-one connection with different brands. You see here is Dolce & Gabbana. A lot of these are NFTs you can buy. And one of the, main differentiators, remember I talked about, the success of a brand is how you can connect with a consumer on many different levels. So some of the NFTs are lower in cost than the actual garments themselves. Some are more, right? But, all of the luxury brands provide entry level prices to some of their products. Like you could buy like a pair of sneakers or a scarf or something like that, just like you can in real life as an NFT, and it won't cost as much. So I'll show you a little bit more, and then, like I said, the link is there. I have a couple more slides I want to get to before we ask questions, and then I have like a little. And here's the Jeffy. And you see those numbers minus 81, comma 119. And when you go to Decentraland, you can type those numbers in and access the actual fashion presentation. And like you can see, it's not always a show. Sometimes it's something like what you see here. And it's shoppable in most cases. You saw, what do you call it? Dundas and Dolce & Gabbana. Bloomingdale, for example, has a shoppable metaverse space in Decentraland. Pull & Bear does. I have like a little Pull & Bear avatar. This one, Philip Lee, I think they paid the most last year for their fashion presentation in here. And anybody, I think I saw Kat, who was in my visual merchandising class, kind of like am building, I guess, minor versions of it for consumers to kind of experience the brand. But I'm gonna stop here and allow you guys to kind of come back to that for the sake of time. All right, so the links to that is there. So the link on the left is to Metaverse Fashion Week, and it lasts for 3 days. You can get on there at any time and it's completely live. And then the link on the right is to that Metaverse Fashion Week video from last year. So another platform you could use is called Metaspark. And Metaspark, you yourselves can create your own augmented reality filters. You know, like last week I did like butterflies on my back that were kind of like all of these different colors, like pinks and purples and things like that. Spatial, like I said before, working with this in my visual merchandising class. This is like Instagram for the metaverse. So you could grab a template off of Spatial, or you can create your own space in Unity and import it into Spatial for people to come and interact with you. It's a really cool platform, very user-friendly to me anyway. So here we are, augmented reality, virtual reality, kind of like what's next. So for me, I am doing some work with this company called Perfect. So Perfect Corp, they do augmented reality, not virtual reality, but augmented reality and artificial intelligence for beauty brands, skincare brands, and they even work with like accessories and things like that. So just to kind of give you the scope of where this is going, Estee Lauder, who you all know, hopefully, right? So Estee Lauder increased their online conversion rate over 250% with artificial intelligence using the software from this company called Perfect Corp. And remember I said where I come in as an XR, what do you call it, an XR expert, as you guys put it, right? So as an XR expert, women of color brands increase over 58%. And that's from the State of Women-Owned Business Report. So my goal here to kind of keep them lasting and keep this kind of growing. And I'm actually not just working with women-owned brands. I'm working with brands that actually work in bicycling, right? So, you know, merchandise from that as well. But my goal is with these brand, you know, entrepreneurs, this surge in entrepreneurship over the last couple of years, most of them are solely operated. So things like artificial intelligence, augmented reality will kind of fill in that gap for them to interact and connect with customers without having to physically be a part of that customer experience, without losing that connection, if that makes sense. So what I'm developing currently now is a way to do that. So this is an extended reality on your laptops, and most likely it would be in some type of app. So there's a company, a small women-owned skin wellness brand that I'm working with called A-List. I've been doing so much stuff with her over the last year. So things that I'm using artificial intelligence and augmented reality for is her services, right? So if you are a consumer just interested in the brand and you want to know about her offerings, I am currently using artificial intelligence and augmented reality to communicate and touch base with the customers and grow her business. So she offers services like virtual teeth whitening. So you could smile in the camera, right? Put your beautiful pearly whites in there, and it'll give you an idea of what you would look like before and after her service. Another service that I'll be offering is a skincare analysis. And what I do is I curate the software to meet the needs of both the customer and understand her product offerings. So she has fast, fresh facial, deep hydration facial, clarifying, and the great awake. So I will take this software and do a skincare analysis and essentially tell you what kind of product you should get when you go into the salon. Also, her services include lashes. So I would do virtual lash try on to see what kind of lashes you would want to get when you go into the salon, right? So she offers classic, flirty, sassy, CCC, 3D mink lashes, and 5D Hollywood. And if you could imagine, classic is going to be the least kind of like dramatic, and 5D Hollywood is going to be the most dramatic. So this software then have you virtually try them on so you can see which ones you want when you go in there, right? So essentially we would be, or A-List would be offering these services for free, but maximizing each sale that she has. That's the goal. Then there's eyebrow shaping services, AI chatbots. And if you are not comfortable with putting your face into the AI skincare analysis, then I could also ask you questions, which is what you see in that last storyboard, to find out what your needs and wants are. And you see, I have like a picture of the type of serum that she offers inside of her salon. And all of this is to, of course, increase sales, educate the consumer, because skin wellness is, I don't know about you, but I always have different questions about like what serums and what moisturizers or what lashes, or, I have 1,000 different questions about that. And with this type of technology, I'd say about 98% of your questions would be answered. Lastly, I want you all to scan this QR code. And while you're doing that, if you have any questions, because I'm done, while you're doing that, you can ask your questions. But if you scan this QR code, you get your own skin analysis. Analyses. Yeah, you got to make sure you are in some good light. I see all of you fixing your hair.
If no one else has a question right now, I could like pull some from the slide, unless anybody else wants to go first. But I think I have it pulled up on my phone too, but
I know it can get distracted.
But I guess I'll just ask real quick, like, clearly this is developing, it's furthering, all that good stuff. Do you think in the future this is going to be like taught in colleges, like stuff like that? Like, is this really going to develop and maybe be a little bit more easier for like people like us in college to understand? Like, could it be a major? It's a very like broad question, but like, what do you think is the future with this stuff? Because it really seems like we are headed in that direction. And yeah, I would just love to know your input.
Well, absolutely. So It has to be, right? I mean, this type of technology and Web3 overall, Web3 in the metaverse overall, which kind of encompasses everything that I spoke about, is the third iteration of the internet, right? So just like, you have social media marketing, you're going to have Web3 marketing. Because it was marketing, then it was social media marketing. And then, of course, there'll be Web3 marketing. And I think a lot of colleges may be a little bit hesitant right now is because it's so new and because it's changing so rapidly every day, right? So will it be taught in the future? You would, as an institution, you would be remiss to not include this in your curriculum. But, right now it may be a little bit over their heads. It's like, what is this kind of thing, right? But I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Has anybody else done the face scan? What is it saying for everybody? Is it accurate? Is it something you would use? So I can tell you, for me, it made me feel very bad about myself.
Everyone says that. It's
expensive
not
skincare.
supposed to do that. It's not supposed to do
But
that.
it's telling me that my freckles are dark sunspots. So the age of my skin is 52 years old. But it thinks that my freckles are sunspots.
Right. So we have room for improvement. Yeah.
So there's definitely room for improvement. But I want to know what you all are seeing. Because I still would use these. I still am very interested in looking into the products it's saying and all of that.
Yeah, I love so just like you all see the products on the bottom, like say vitamin C serum, for a business like A-List, then it would have on their her serum to answer that problem.
What are the numbers? Is that like you want to be close to 100 or you want to be close to 0?
You want to be close. Hold on, that part I still am learning.
All their numbers are similar. Like the woman on our screen, 79 redness, 93
spots. So it doesn't mean that you have 93 spots.
It doesn't, right?
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't mean that. Oh, the skin scan. That's what you said. The skin scan made me feel bad. But let me tell you this. So it's not necessarily to make you feel bad, but it's more or less guiding you in the direction of what products you need, right? So, I mean, no one's skin is perfect. Let's just, kind of resolve that question.
Has anyone used this technology at Sephora where they scan your skin to get your right foundation color? Has anybody done that?
I have.
Tell us about it, Christina.
Inaccurate.
It wasn't.
And I don't know if there's a whole nother side of this that it's kind of challenging as a person with darker skin to be matched in a place like Sephora. So outside of that, she did do it, and I bought the foundation that she said I should buy based on the scan, and she didn't test it on my skin. And I came back the next day and I tried it at home, and I came back the next day and I was like, this is not right. And we did the actual in-person test and found the correct shade.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it tells me my skin tone, and I'm very fair skinned, is a brown skin tone because it picks up on my freckles, the color of my freckles, instead of, because I have so many, it doesn't get the color underneath the freckle for some reason.
Right.
This is.
Go ahead.
Oh, Angelina just wrote something.
Yeah, I could just read it out loud. But I was reading like the skin matrix thing, like this one. And as I was reading it, so I had like a 95 for spots and it only recommended me one product, but my redness is really high. I mean, you can literally see it on screen, and it recommended me more products. So I think you want to be as close to 100 as possible. I think that's like my kind of like feedback.
I'm going to be doing this all night.
They have more on there, by the way. They have more tests and things like that, like personality. What other tests do they have on there? I forget. But I think, Perfect by far, like that company, Yeah, perfect company. They work with a lot of different brands to kind of, implement the use of this technology. And they're not the only one. They're just one of the most successful ones right now. Other questions, if any?
I have a question. With you being in this industry and like, I feel like you are supportive of it and you see its benefits. What is the one, do you have anything that's like, ooh, this is scary if it goes in the opposite direction, or like any fears with this technology not being used in the correct way?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, kind of piggybacking on what I said before, a lot of initially we had to kind of regulate how data was being used and collected from things like face scans and how often or how long you spend looking at something in the metaverse. And it literally was like I've seen cases win and I've seen cases lose. Like for example, I believe it was Dior who won their case in augmented reality, but was it Hermes that just lost, or did they win? I'm not sure. For NFTs, right? So there's a lot of lawsuits. Don't at me on the Hermes one, but I know for Dior they won because it's like I don't necessarily have to disclose, unfortunately, everything that I'm using this data for. Right? Because you kind of volunteer it. You volunteer it. We're volunteering it right now, just being on this Zoom, for them to, collect a little bit of data from us, like kind of like what's in our rooms and all of that. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no hiding from Big Brother. I don't know how to, how to
That's
answer
so
that.
true, and that's scary.
Yeah, it's
Never
very
thought
scary. So
about that.
that part of it is daunting and very, very scary.
Because they're
But
zooming in on Emily
I feel
Keene's
like
background to
as,
see her posters.
say it again.
They're zooming in on Emily Keene's background to see her posters.
Yeah, to see our posters right now.
See Angelina like some leopard back there.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if you see some of this stuff on your timeline. But I feel like, I always like to say I am a light in dark spaces, right? So if I am the person who's using this for something positive and to enlighten and inform and educate and not steal from and take advantage of, then I feel like my part is being done, right? And that to me snatches the fear of going into this space right out of me anyway, right? And hopefully out of you guys, because there's a lot of hurdles to cross to kind of make you do something bad. I mean, I could tell you a bad story about things that happen in the metaverse. People have have been bullied and taken advantage of and assaulted in the metaverse, right? And you think like, oh, why don't you just take the mask off, right? But sometimes it's not that easy because when you are so lost in this space and part of it is having it on for too long, you kind of become really, really engulfed in and engaged in the space. I, try and limit it for about an hour or so at the most to have the story. I mean, not the story mask, but the VR headset on. Yeah. Other questions? That was a great one though.
I have a quick one. How do brands, I get the value of extended reality for brands, but how do brands like maintain user engagement in metaverses so that they don't become like digital ghost towns that they're like not really utilizing anymore, and it's just like this other arm of this extension of their brand that isn't like being utilized any longer?
So they got to do different iterations, right? So you're talking about like, what if no one's visiting, say, this metaverse space in a long time? They have to do different iterations of it, right? So yes, like for example, the Bloomingdale's 150th anniversary metaverse platform, like there's like a ton of different things that you kind of go through and things like that, but the 150th anniversary is kind of over, right? So now what do we do? Well, of course you can still go into that space, but you have to update it. And you got to think, the metaverse is never ending, right? So there is no like, you can go in the front of the store, go around the store, and then leave out of the front or the back of the side of the store. You can just keep building on that store until oblivion. Like there's no end space. And then once you introduce a new product or idea, then you could communicate that to your customer and bring them right back in there the same way that you would in a store, right? Introducing a new line, a new promotion or sale or something like that. Those who are connected and want to know about the metaverse or different platforms like it, when something new comes up, they're kind of like running towards it. Like everybody's talking about Metaverse Fashion Week for next week, and brands like Philip Ling, Dolce & Gabbana, like you saw there, they're all kind of like creating new merchandise for or new designs for the actual metaverse platform. And then, what's so great also about the metaverse is, as a new designer, right? So our textile designers, our fashion design minors, etc. If you have a line of merchandise, let's say you do it in like Clo 3D or something like that, it's almost free for you to get your product into the faces of buyers for them to see, because you can create a free virtual showroom in Unity. And then, or you could do something like a connection with DressX and design it and put it in DressX, which is an app on your phone, to kind of connect it with buyers that way, right? So you do have many different ways that you can reinvigorate the space, i.e. kind of like answering your question, Angelina, also with, is this going to be taught in the future? Because social media marketing is kind of piggybacking off what I'm saying right now, introducing something new in a new way or in a new space, right? Other questions? No. I'm having the same issue you were having. Okay. So I'm going to ask the same question again, and then I think that will be it then, Juliana, unless there's anything else. So what if I told you you can be anyone you want and go anywhere you want without leaving your home or changing your physical appearance? Would you be interested? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what sparked it in me.
Mhm.
So 'tis all, my dear
That
estudiante.
was amazing. For an amazing round of applause. We are so lucky to have you as our expert and a part of our team. Thank you for jumping in at the last minute. Oh, Angelina would love to see a club. Yes, develop where we can continue talking about this. That's a great idea, Angelina. Yes. And I'm pretty sure that we know who the head of that club should be. So thank you again, Professor Avent, for being here. I'm going to stop recording.